What's going on, everybody? Thanks a lot for joining. Whatever questions you got about meat and muscles, go ahead and fire away. Jonathan's going to be leading things and hosting things as always. Thank you very much, sir. He is the original carnivore bodybuilder. And then we have I guess you could call us the second and third carnivore bodybuilders, right? Kind of following on your coattails, sir. All of us with knowledge in different areas, kind of opposite ends of the earth, opposite corners of the earth. And we have a lot in common. So anything that you guys got for us, just go ahead and fire away. In the meantime, I got some questions for you guys. Not sure if there's any specific topics you wanted to kick things off with, guys.
I've not had any questions actually. I think mine have been kicked off on the last Q&A I did. But if you've got any, that'd be handy. Yeah, it's been a pleasure getting to know you guys a little bit better. Coordinating this, as many people in the chat knows, it's quite tricky. But we managed to make it work, and it's basically the only time we can do so without sort of majorly impacting one of us. So it means
and we all
if there's a
showed up on
weekend,
time today, and I showed up on time today, and I've been getting better at that, bro. I'm telling everybody, like people at church, everybody, hey, I'm
you're
on
doing
time.
well, yeah.
I'm on time. Thank you. We've been getting much better.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So you're increasing.
Right. We've got one question in the chat already.
Let's start with there. Let's start with that.
Let's get this one out of the way, otherwise I'll forget it. So Carl asked, I'll check on the screen. Can I drive and lift weights at the same time, like in the movie Over the Top? You guys seen that?
I have, yeah. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger, isn't it? Not Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone. Stallone, yeah. Arnold Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Do you know that one? That's so bad. I love that movie.
Okay, yeah, great movie.
So I've totally done this on contest prep. This is back when we were this is back when we were building a business that required us doing a lot of driving, and so basically I was having to drive 4 hours across the state to Spokane and 4 hours back, and I was doing 4 competitions. This was in 2019. This is actually before I was carnivore. So it was super annoying, man. Like I was having to pack sweet potatoes and stuff, like because being on one meal a day right now, two meals a day. Actually, I'm kind of around 3 meals a day. Feels like 1 meal a day because I'm trying to push it into like a 6-hour window. It just simplifies your meal prep all around because it's just a nightmare when you're packing carbs everywhere and like different protein sources and life is a lot simpler now. But in the car, if I wasn't eating sweet potatoes or eating my meals, I was doing like wrist curls, wrist extensions, just kind of like whatever I could do while safely driving. And never got pulled over for it, never got in an accident for it. And looking back, I'm like, wow, that's definitely something that I'm glad I matured past. hanging out with
very
people
fortunate,
like
Colt. Nice. Yeah, like you just touched on there. I mean, it doesn't really relate to the question, but packing your meals when you're a carnivore on the road is so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
You're not eating like cold, horrible rice. You're eating like cold, horrible burger patties, but at least you can put a bit of cheese in them. You're not having to eat like loads of dry ass starches, with sugar and crap all over it, and you don't have to add extra seasoning to it because it's ready made there. That's one thing that I'm there to not partake anymore. You can do cheese, boiled eggs, jerky, burger patties. Works pretty good.
Yeah. As long as you stick to those foods, you know that if you're hungry,
Did you talk up?
They actually need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that year 2019 with those 4 shows, that sucked, man. It was I was lean, but I was hungry for an entire year straight. Literally for an entire year straight, even on my refeed days, man. I'm talking 6 pounds of sweet potatoes, 7 pounds of sweet potatoes in one day. Like that was a normal refeed for me. Still hungry, but stuffed and bloated. And now hardly ever hungry and never really stuffed and never really bloated.
Yeah, I always pity people that will never be able to understand that because, like, we us three have all done it. We've had those diets, loads of carbs, eating kilos upon kilos of meals, of weight of food in meals, and it's like something doesn't quite hit that spot. But now we're at the point where something works. Like I've seen your
Mhm.
meals, Colt. You make nice meals. Like I'd definitely eat your meals, probably over mine most days.
You would good, thanks. I'm like,
I'm
I
not
don't know how
lazy
to make
cook.
this look more appetizing, but it's just butter and ground beef, and it's bomb. It's like a giant bowl of popcorn.
Yeah, it does work well. I like it with a bit of cheese in it or something. Or we're quite fortunate over here. I'm sure Mark's got the same experience. We're fortunate over here to have loads of raw cheeses and different things like that. I mean, I don't know if Mark can eat those sort of foods, but it's handy to know we have them at accessible amounts.
Would you agree, Jonathan, that the Americans kind of have it easier than we do in regards to food when it comes to carnivore?
Um,
Because when you look at the options that we have over here, it's all like three options. Like you look at
Yeah.
keto, it's not the same as what over in America. Like you see keto bars
yeah.
and protein shakes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Colt.
Mark, I was just gonna say I agree with you. I've been having a heck of a time with food choices from with like anybody that I'm doing consults with in Europe.
Yeah,
it is. In the United States, it's like, yeah, just eat this, and this, bam, they're fine. But like, same meal plan for someone over there, and they're like, whoa, I can't get this, and I can't get that, and hey, this has protein in it. Does that count? What
the heck? Yeah, I know. And like over here, there's like this. Yeah, there's different types of keto over here. I mean, people can say over here you can have the honey, you can have the berries, you can have the bars, you can have the protein, you can have the collagen protein. There's so many different keto brands over here. It's unreal. But when you look at them, there's tons of sugar in them though, tons of sugar. And then when you look at the American market, there's so much option. Like when you go into, I've been in America a few times, and when you go into Walmart, there's so many options, tons of options.
I see what you mean now. Yeah, I never thought of it from that angle. But if you're looking at like keto snacks, treats, like Colt, for example, if you went over to our biggest supermarket over here, maybe like a big, Asda out of town, you might have 3 or 4 products total on the shelf that have keto labeled on them. Like 3 or 4 products total, and that's a big shop, big ass shop. Like 10, 15 aisles. It might be like a keto protein powder, keto bar of some sort. But even then, you look at it and look at the ingredients. It's like, oh, it has 7 grams of carbs in it. And it's like, we can have like one then if you're eating like vegetables and stuff. So it's not really keto.
Oh, bro, no, you go to the supermarkets here and everything says keto. Like there's like an entire keto aisle and none of it's keto. It's like there's keto hamburger buns. I mean, like half of the bun is basically all of your net carbs you can eat for the entire day if you're on keto. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
And we have a much higher obesity rate here in the US than what you guys have, which is really weird. How does that make any sense?
Well, Colt, I was thinking about this earlier actually. Mark will have exactly the same experience. So if you go to a fast food restaurant, a large portion of fries over here is about 120 grams.
Yeah.
Over where you are, a large portion of fries is like 200 or 200 grams or more.
Portion sizes are major.
Yeah, we don't have super size over here. We have, so it depends where you go, but like regular and large, that's about it.
Yeah.
I
did notice that when I was in Europe, all the portion sizes were way larger. I mean, like for me growing up, lunch was an entire pizza, like a medium or a large pizza. Like, I mean, probably north of like 5,000 calories if we're going to talk about calories, but right.
Yeah.
In one sitting. And I don't know, that's kind of typical. Like you grow up on a ranch and you work hard and you got to pack a lot of food away. But that you can get away with it and it doesn't look like you're damaging your body. And then you get older and have kids and everybody puts all this weight on because they never get away from those eating habits.
I'm amazed at how long I got around eating massive amounts of food for as long as I did. Like I think I did maybe, like again, if we're talking about calories, maybe between 5,000 and 8,000 calories a day. Some weeks it's at 8,000, and that's through like pizza, bags of sweets, protein bars, and all sorts of crap.
Yeah,
like I'm talking about loads of stuff. But like every meal for me, when I was at uni, right, it'd be about 4 slices of toast, then about quite a bit of butter on each one. Then I have maybe 6 eggs. Might have some baked beans, like half a tin of baked beans. That was meal 1. Meal 2 was like something before the gym, so it might be like a protein shake with an apple or something, something daft. Meal 3, 4, and 5 would be like a ready meal with an extra chicken breast with an extra potato than another meal meat like a whole pizza. You know, like there's like £2 pizzas you get, like the takeaway ones, like 2,000 calories, whatever. Yeah, I went crazy, and that was what I was eating like for years, and my body just gave up eventually. I caught a major viral infection in probably around 2016, roughly. While I was eating lots of food, I had such a leaky gut, my body was wrecked. And what happened after that point was I was eating and eating and eating, but I couldn't hold weight on. I was getting more and more sick. I ended up throwing up every day for around 3 months straight. So I'd wake up, walk to the loo, and throw up. And that was every single day.
Wow.
It shifted eventually once I ate a bit less and started eating less vegetables and stuff like that, and less sugar. Less sugar overall made the biggest difference. But yeah, that was a horrific experience. I do attest the diet to it. You know, it was the diet. Yeah.
Have you noticed? Let's see. So when most people make that transition from keto to carnivore, the biggest difference really is plants and fiber. Have either of you noticed? Or I guess, what do you typically see as far as I'm just gonna say it, bowel movements go? Because I'm one and done first thing every single day without effort, basically just like Barquet talks about. And so I never have any plants and never have any fiber in my diet, and so it's predictable and it's like clockwork. Like it literally never changes. I got 3 or 4 people that still have like some fiber in their diet. But they're mostly carnivore. I would say 95%, and they're still having bowel issues. So that's something that we need to fix. What's your guys' experience with coaching people through that kind of stuff?
I mean, it's always going to be a tapered approach. It's hard to get people to get rid of these things because, you know, when you look at your plate, and I mean, I just said earlier, I looked at Colt's plate and thought, oh, that ground beef and butter look good. Was two foods, you know, there's nothing else in it. But some people, they need that visual appeal where actually thinking, okay, I need my tomato, my lettuce leaves, my cucumber, and what's that sort of this, that, never.
It just doesn't look like people, a complete meal.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
it's the color of the rainbow, isn't it? We were all taught the color of the rainbow. You must have the color of the rainbow on your plate.
Oh, that's the dumbest advice. Yeah, where is the science behind that? That's what you should eat. All the colors of the rainbow. Go for it. Wow.
My nutrition lecturer suggested that, and her proposal was that they have different polyphenol properties. And I said, why do we need polyphenols? And she couldn't really answer to me. She just said they're beneficial. I'm like, yeah, they're beneficial, but why are they beneficial? Past that point, she didn't really understand it, and I was like,
because they're fixing
the problems. I lost it at that point. Immediately, I was like, I don't really agree here.
Yeah, I was the same. I was the same. I took on a girl there about 2 weeks ago, and she was in a really, really bad way with her digestion, and she has a few issues with her joints, and she's got a bad back issue. And I looked at her diet, and she was saying that she's eating a lot of vegetables, eating a lot of processed food. So I said, right, what we're going to do is we're going to phase them out every week. So I phased out the processed food in the first week, and then I said in the second week, right, we're going to remove all veggies. She nearly had a heart attack. She said, why are we removing veg? Why are we removing veg? So then when I looked at her sheet, she told me that she goes to the toilet pretty much every 2 or 3 days. So she was constipated. So I said to her, like, listen, we're gonna remove all the veg. And we had a bit of a spat over it, but we agreed in the end. We can keep a little bit here and there. But once we removed the vegetables out of her diet, she was her energy levels, she felt a little bit lighter. She felt so much lighter. Now she wakes up every morning. Now she's going to the toilet. She feels great. She's not as bloated, and she understands now. Like when you have the fiber in your diet, it actually slows the digestion down a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, yeah, you're right. And why would you want to?
Yeah, when you explain to someone,
you're just giving your body an extra chore that it doesn't need to do.
But like Jonathan said, like. Yeah. It's all about, like, if you say to somebody, right, you're just going to have a piece of steak and a bit of butter on your plate, they're going to look at that and say, look, no, hang on a second, I'm actually missing out on something here. But I think that's why I'm never a fan of, for me personally, to put my clients into like this phase of going straight into it. I would rather like ease them into it, Because if I say, right, okay, listen, you're going to be just having steak, you're going to have butter, you're only going to be having like chicken thighs or something like that, they're going to look at me and say, you're bleeding mental. You're mental. But I think once you phase them into like different areas, they understand why we're going this direction, because they're listening to their body. If those gut issues have been removed and they're feeling better, they understand why 2 or 3 weeks, this is the reason why we're going in this direction in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll never experience that benefit until they just pull the plunge and think, just try it. Honestly, just try it, and it sounds.
Even if it's something that doesn't sound like it's that big of a culprit, like a handful of nuts a day or something, do you think that's enough to keep them from getting a bit more regular and having more friendly bathroom visits?
I think things like that can, in effect, puncture holes in the intestinal lining. Like think of it this way: imagine you got like a pipe with maybe like a balloon in it or something. It's got like a balloon kind of inner tubing to it. You put something spiky down it, so even like the micro hairs that are leaves and things and salad, anything sharp like that, that's got to work down there. Now, if you chew up meat and just put some water down it, because your stomach acid will produce, acid, which is like a liquid to emulsify it and wash it down. You put that down it, and just with meat, it will just slip down just nicely. But that doesn't happen with vegetables because the fiber can't be broken down. So it's so much more intensive to your body to deal with. And I think for a lot of people, that minor stress can become a de-stress. So it actually causes a problem. With me, I noticed when I've had fiber in my diet, it's horrendous. And I'm talking about just strange bowel movements, It might be days, it might be really frequent. Your body's trying to get it out of your system effectively. But yeah, kind of answering your question, I mean, I go once a day. Depends how my body's going. If I'm not very active, I'm not able to eat much, I feel a bit sick, then it'll be scaled to that. So I might go 5 times a week. But yeah, usually 5 to 7 times a week is my norm, and it's pretty normal every time, I must say.
And what are you guys' opinion of having like something like to help with digestion first thing in the morning, like say glutamine, apple cider vinegar, things like that? What are your guys' opinion on that?
Colt knows what I'll say.
I don't actually. I'm going to guess that you'll say neither.
I'm going to say neither. I mean, there are studies where people have used around, I think it's 10 to 30 grams of glutamine in the morning, and they say it helps to repair the gut lining. Then my argument to that would be, if you're eating that same amount of glutamine through the protein you're eating, what benefit would that have? And as for apple cider vinegar, I believe it has a pH of around 4.5, and your digestive system, your lower gut, where your body does all the work basically, the pH is around 1.5 to 2. So you're actually causing a dilution effect to your gut, which means when you're drinking apple cider vinegar, even if it's raw form, without it watered down, it's actually diluting your stomach acid. So imagine now people having that, which is 4.5, adding water to it, maybe it gets to about, say, 5.5. You're actually just doing nothing. You're actually making it more difficult for your body to assimilate protein and fat. So I'm not a fan of either really, but I think out of the two, glutamine's probably more useful, if anything. But yeah,
what do you think? Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because glutamine's kind of the only one that I've been hanging on to, and it seems to be like or at least around here, all the bodybuilding coaches are pretty much adamant that it's something that should be in your diet if you expect to be recovering adequately and having decent digestion too. Kind of the same, it's recommended for the same thing. So yeah, I guess I'm still a believer.
I would,
but not on the apple cider vinegar though. Wow.
Yeah, shocking. But people will. It does provide a very, very potent effect on the placebo system. People use it because it's a routine thing it can use. It's simple. It's like a cap for the day or whatever. But logically, it doesn't make sense. At the same time, though, it does have like some antimicrobial, antifungal effects. That if your body's ridden with parasites, then maybe it has some effect there. But I think there's a lot more benefit to be had from just the diet alone, really.
I think in that situation, though, I think that's where fasting is very, very powerful. I think fasting is probably a better protocol. Yeah, just listen to your body. Just don't overload the body with a lot of foods. The body has the best digestive system, so just let the body take it over. You don't need any enzymes or anything like that to help the process. Just let your body do the work itself. So if you feel like you're being overloaded with a lot of food, then step back. Maybe you need a 12-hour fast. Maybe you need an 8-hour fast. You probably need a day fast. Just listen to your body. There's been many times when, especially when I'm ill and I can't eat anything at all, I'm not going to force anything into my body. My body doesn't want any food. So if I want to speed up the recovery process when I'm ill, more than likely I'm going to go the whole day. I'll go the whole day fasting. I'm not going to miss anything the next day. So I think fasting is very, very powerful as well.
Good stuff. Hey, Mark,
I've only had one case where I recommended that sort of thing, like the enzymes, but that was a case where the guy wasn't eating anything and everything he ate was really messing him up, and he tried fasting already. But for some reason that didn't help him. So I spoke to this gentleman in a consultation as a one-off. So do I know his full past, his history, what he's currently, it's hard to piece apart, really. Yeah, sorry, what were you saying, Colt?
Yeah, so Mark, you're kind of a fan of having just like a little bit of food in your stomach when you train in the morning, but you're otherwise fasted without that first meal. And so like it's either a little bit of some cacao butter or bacon typically, right? And then like your vitamin D and cod liver oil. That's usually what you have first thing before going to the gym.
No, so I go to the gym at 6 a.m. every morning. So the meal I have right now, I just had my meal there about half an hour ago. Yeah. That's what's gonna fuel me for in the morning. So I had my meal around 8 o'clock. I'm full now. When I wake up in the morning, I won't be stuffed. I won't feel heavy. I won't feel lethargic. It feels quite good now. Whereas if I ate something really hard or heavy, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. I'd be in bed, I'd be farting, I'd be breaking wind all night, and I wouldn't be feeling good at all. So, no, I'm a big believer, like what you eat before. If you're training in the morning, make sure that meal that you have the night before is so important. That's what's going to fuel you. If you are going to the gym training fasted, if you're not going to the gym training fasted, then and you have a couple of hours spare in the morning to eat, I'm a big fan of having like a small snack before you go to the gym. Okay. Maybe a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, but not too much. But I would always ensure that's at least maybe 2 or 3 hours before you go to the gym to ensure the digestion process. You've already digested that food properly first.
Okay. Would either of you have a concern about because that person would otherwise be like basically 16-8 fasted, so like in your case, like you're basically 16-8 right now, right, Mark?
16 hours rough that. Roughly about that, yeah. Okay. About 15-9, I'd say.
Okay, so I guess my question for both of you is, would a small amount of, say, 5 grams protein and 15 grams of fat, with a couple pills like vitamin D, cod liver oil, would that be enough to ruin any kind of benefits that you're getting from the fast in terms of digestion and overall health, gym performance aside?
I wouldn't put the 15 grams before the training personally. I would rather have slightly higher protein when I'm going into the workout, simply because I don't want anything slow digestion through my workout. So I want to have something that's gonna be fast. So this is where I'll have some sort of protein, but I'll have maybe a little bit of MCT oil in my coffee or something, just something small, just to give me that energy boost that I need. But I know if I have an awful lot of fat before my workout, then it's going to pretty much sit in my gut by the end of the workout. I want to make sure that I've emptied everything before the workout's over. So when I go home, I feel good, and about 2 hours later, I'll eat again. But if I have a high fat meal before I go training, I probably won't eat for another 5 or 6 hours because I'm completely full, even though I ate like 6 hours ago.
Okay, wow, good stuff. Yeah, I've noticed too. Training with fat, like even a keto brick is probably like the only thing that I could eat and just go to the gym and work out. But even then, it's just it's like my body's like, okay, we're either fasted and training or fed and not training. And eating a meal and then going to the park and playing with the kids, great, we can do that. But anything that has like that has a certain amount of intensity to do it, I just find impossible to do with any kind of food in my stomach.
Is Is this in regards to your training, Colt? The 5 protein, 15 fat.
Oh no, I think that's kind of what Mark was doing for a little while, right before going to the gym. That's why I brought those numbers up, because it was just like a couple pieces of bacon. You would down it and then go. I thought, or maybe that was after the gym.
No, that's after the gym.
Okay, my bad.
So my meals pretty much
yeah.
start. My meals pretty much start for the day when I come back from the gym.
Okay,
and then I'll eat every 2 or 3 hours.
When do you take those? When do you take those supplements then? Your cod liver oil and your vitamin
D. After training.
Because if you took it before training, there would just be nothing to chase it down. There'd be no point because it can't really. There's nothing else to digest.
Not really. Like if I was anal about it, I'd probably take it before I go to bed. But it doesn't make any difference to me as long as I'm taking it with some sort of fat soluble meal, especially the vitamin D. Then I'm still getting the benefits out of it. So, I don't want anything going into my body at all before I go training. That's the last thing I'm thinking about. I'm not waking up a little bit earlier thinking, I have to get a little bit of food in my body before I go training. I want to get that extra half an hour, 45 minutes sleep. I wake up, I'm fully hydrated, look at my journal, know exactly what I'm going to do, get in, smash it, and then when I come home, let my body relax, have a shower, do my work, then I'll listen to my hunger signals. When I'm hungry, then I'll eat. That's what I used to do in the past. I used to think that by listening to everybody, you have to have your protein shake after training, you have to eat an hour later. That fucked me up big time. I was like, no, I'm not doing that ever again. From now, I'm listening to my body. I'm only going to eat when you want to eat. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to force feed, because that's what gave me gut issues in the past. I was just bombarding like Jonathan, I was eating a lot of food, maybe again, calories wise, I was probably eating around 4,500 calories of pure crap. I was eating probably about 80% carbohydrate diet. And I just, as I said, I felt like rubbish because I felt like, okay, like I used to have cyclic dextrin and all through my workouts. I used to sip on aminos. I used to have a big jug of aminos and cyclic dextrin and creatine. I used to drink that during my workout. And I've always trained fast. Like I've always done an hour. And I'd be sipping on this bleeding drink, and honest to God, I'd be puking up halfway through the workout. And I said, this can't be right. And then they want me to drink a protein shake after training, and then they want me to have a meal. I was like, how is this possible? And then the more you've done the research on this, and you watch people saying that this is how you do it, this is how you do it, you're like, there must be another way. There has to be another way. This can't be sustainable for the rest of your life. It can't be.
Exactly.
Yeah. In regards to your question, sorry, Colt, about the 5 grams protein, 15 grams of fat. I think it depends who you are in a sense. So, like Mark, not ideal. I mean, if he trains at 5, 6 in the morning, he's not going to want to wake up and sacrifice sleep that much to have a small feeding sort of thing. But if it is you, Colt, you could probably do that with no problem. I mean, I had breakfast today an hour before training, roughly, and that had about 70 grams of fat in it. Now, if you put me in that position, say 2 months ago, and my gut was really wrecked, no chance. No chance. Like maybe 20 grams. Like maybe like 4 eggs and a bit of cheese and a bit of butter with it. Maybe that'd be it. So I think it depends on your metabolism sort of thing. So how much you can deal with after a given day. I think, Colt, you'd probably be fine if you trained fasted or with a little bit of food in you, really. But it's good to have that routine, I think. It's good to have that sort of scheduling. I think that's probably the most important thing. And like Mark rightly said, don't sacrifice sleep for the sake of having a mini meal,
Exactly.
Yeah. I might suggest to Mark to have the if he's going to have the cod liver on the vitamin D, have that around midday if he has a midday meal. Ideally.
I had a coach, not my primary coach, but I had a coach one time through my bodybuilding shows that was adamant that I had to have a meal first thing in the morning when waking up before doing any kind of training, and so I did it. And like I had to get up earlier, like I just wasn't ready to eat. It's just I've never been one to eat really until later in the day, and then when I do, I eat a lot. I make up for it. I definitely get everything in, but to just give general advice that breakfast is the most important meal, and that you need that fuel to be able to have a good workout and optimize your body, your bodybuilding and hypertrophy is just no science nor anecdotal evidence even that I'm aware of that supports that.
No, it doesn't make sense. And the best person that's going to always know this is you. You're going to understand, like, okay, is this right for my body? You're going to make the decision. Nobody else is going to make it for you.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Yeah, well said.
What about citrulline malate? What's your thoughts on that? Is that a good idea for someone on a carnivore diet?
That's a good question. It depends how well people tolerate the malate side of it. So it's very acidic for a lot of people. So for people that don't know, I believe citrulline malate is made in a 2-to-1 ratio. So if, for example, you had 6 grams of citrulline malate, 4 grams of citrulline, 2 grams of malate. If you have that sort of product, like pre-workout sort of thing, maybe half an hour to an hour before, you find your stomach's churning, you feel sore, like your gut feels a bit, I might suggest just trying citrulline on its own. I think it's quite an individual thing. I mean, people suggest online that the malate is useful for one of the biochemical energy cycles in the body. Which one I can't remember for the life of me, but they find it useful for that. So eliminating fatigue, but at the same time, I think it could be a stressful thing to have in. So ideally, just have the citrulline personally. And I mean, I've used around probably say 6 to 10 grams of citrulline alone as a pre-workout for a long time, and I like that sort of dose. For me, it's a good vasodilator, helps with the pump. I think most of the benefit from it is just having a sick pump, really.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
So you have noticed that it helps?
It helps in the sense that I feel more motivated to train. My blood flows better. I have better muscle contractions. So yeah.
What about you, Mark?
And when it comes to pre-workout supplements, I'm not a fan at all, to be honest. I find that if I want to get a good pump in the gym, I'll just add some salt into my water during my workout, and that's when I feel amazing. I know when I get really fatigued in the gym, the minute I have a sip of water, those pumps are just incredible. I just feel huge when I have salt in my water during my workouts, especially if I do a set. Like my muscles are like pumped full of blood. I feel really, really good. I just find that, like, when you look at what you can do to what outside you can do, like, people think that I need to spend a lot of money on supplements to get like this kind of pump in the gym, when it's all you need is just water and just salt. That's it. It's probably the best pump formula studied ever drink that you can have when you're doing your training. That's just in my opinion. I find that if you get hooked on pre-workout supplements or any kind of supplement in general, you're gonna be buying that for the rest of your life. But I think that pretty much less is more, really, in fairness, because I've noticed that difference between I have taken citrulline malate in the past, and it's felt really, really good, but I haven't noticed any difference at all to what I'm taking now. None at all. I feel actually more powerful now when I'm just sipping on my salty water during my workout. And if anything, it doesn't hinder my performance in the gym at all. I felt, like Jonathan said, like, usually when I have a pre-workout, I can feel that like growling in my stomach before I go to the gym. It's a little bit heavy. Whereas when I go into the gym, I'd rather just go into the gym. My tummy is empty. I feel really, really good. There's no energy distress there whatsoever. And I'm not going to counteract that by putting in a supplement that I actually don't need. And plus, it might save you money as well going forward.
Oh, for sure. So I sent you a stim-free pump formula that has citrulline malate 2-1, and it has.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it and see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, bro. So give me, and I know you will otherwise, but give me your honest opinion on it. And if you notice a better pump, tell me. And if you don't, I'm cutting it out and I'm going to stop taking it. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because the only supplements that I'm taking right now that I haven't really given up yet is TAG, which is transallylglutamine, and then the stim-free pump, and I mean maybe a Relight, and that's pretty much it. And the product that I'm using, Vitagen. It's basically it's kind of a liquid multivitamin is what it is. It has rhodiola in it and ashwagandha. And they're sweetened with sucralose. So that's kind of my carnivore sin right now that I'm not willing to give up. But if somebody can legitimately talk me out of a citrulline malate, okay, yeah, I'll try it. But
All I can say is like I'm older than you two together, and I've been taking supplements for a long time. Like I've been taking them for well over 20 years, well over, and I spent a fortune. And I have to say, since in the last couple of years, since I've cut them out, I don't think anything has changed for me personally. No. I think the only way you guys will understand that is when you get to my age and you understand that I actually don't need these supplements anymore, and then you understand that I actually didn't need these in the past. Now, as I said, I tried every single supplement, everything you can possibly think of. I tried. I did the whole lot. I used to do pre-work.
not as many as me, bro. I guarantee you. I mean, everything. Like, this will put muscles on you. Great. Is it natural? It's not in the banned substances. Great. I'm taking it.
Yeah, I mean, I did the most dangerous concoctions you could ever think of. I did pre-workouts with Red Bull. I did pre-workouts with Lucozade. Honest to God, I drank casein. I drank casein protein during my training. I mean, I done the whole lot. Honestly, I did everything. There was times when I was drinking milk during my training. I did everything, and I said to myself, like, this, there has to be another way. And when I look at the supplements industry now, I'm like, dude, honestly, you don't need any of this shit. You really don't. I mean, the only supplements you need pretty much is for your health, and that's it. You're going to get more benefits out of supplements that you're getting for your health because, like the vitamin D, and there's a bit of question mark with fish oil. But if you're raising your testosterone pretty much all the time, and especially as you get older, it's a little bit harder to raise your testosterone. So that's when I recommend that you definitely increase your vitamin D. You might need some sort of other supplements to keep that going as well. But
that's just when you and your wife need to start making more trips to the fun shops, you know.
Yeah.
Make sure you got all the caveat for what I'm saying. Yeah, so Mark's completely correct. Everyone that watches my channel knows I always say the same thing. The goal is for no one to need or take any supplements. I don't think there's any supplements that you actually need. And Mark is right. Like, I'm sure, like 10 years down the line, I'm look back and think, oh, it was a complete waste of time taking all these like extra creatine powders. And in terms of like the actual percentage of gain to whatever performance or physique benefit I get, yes, it's probably so marginal I wouldn't even notice it. Probably better off spending my money elsewhere. The thing is, I've used citrulline, and I noticed a benefit in terms of like being pumped. Now, does that mean if I used it versus not used it, my physique will be better a year from now? Probably not. It's more a vanity thing, you know. It's more of
I'm with you there too.
A show thing. You see what I mean? It's not like it's like going to the gym. You're wearing your favorite gym vest, you know, and you got your favorite uniform on, like your kit, your best shoes on, that sort of thing. When you feel like you belong, sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of thing. But I completely agree with what Mike's saying. Like most supplements, that's trash. You don't need them. Like on my clients' plans, there's about 3 I've ever recommended, ever. You can ask any one of them if they pop up in the chat. And they'll tell you it's always the same 3. So
yeah, and I'm the same. Like not
other stuff, but
yeah, I'm the same. Like not one of my clients are on supplements. Not one. I can tell you that now. And they'll always say to me, like, "What, can I have a protein shake? Can I not have creatine? Can I not have pre-workout?" And they would have been like us. They would have fell for all this bullshit, like when it comes to the market about protein shakes and all that. But once they take them out, they feel so much better. Their performance in the gym is so much better. They're getting stronger. They're getting a good pump. So it's like, why spend more money on something that you just do not need?
Mm-hmm.
Spend it on day out of the family, I think.
Yeah. Spend it on quality food. You're never going to outweigh quality food. If you buy food, if you've got €70, don't go into the shop and buy a tub of protein. Go into the shop and get yourself some decent food. That's it. Simple.
We've got some questions in this live chat, guys.
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
Let's go there.
Go.
Let's go for it. I'll just count through them. 1, 2. There's about 4 in here, so we can get through these quite quickly, probably.
Yeah.
The first one is from Lucky, I believe is Mark's current client.
Mark and I are tag teaming it. Yep.
Tag team. Lucky her.
Yeah.
Can you build muscle using lighter weights with more reps and utilize time under tension?
Sorry, I missed the first
think
part of the question.
Yeah, so she asked, "Hi guys, can you build muscle using lighter weights with more reps and utilize time under tension?"
Yeah, Jonathan, why don't you take this one because she talks to us all the time.
That's fair. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure Mark's probably had some ideas towards that, which has probably benefited her in some way. Yeah, I think you can, as long as you're going close to muscular failure, at least to a safe point where you can't quite lift the weight. Sorry. I've actually got 2 videos coming out on time extension soon. I say soon; it might be about 3 weeks from now. But look out for those. And
Everybody
I think
listening,
it's completely
turn on
possible.
post
Just get
turn
the
on
time
post
extension right. So
notifications. Turn on post notifications to this channel so you see those videos when they come out.
yeah, that's a good shout. A lot of my subscribers miss my videos sometimes, and they're like, "I didn't realize you've posted a video every single day for the last month." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been doing it quite steadily."
Me too.
Yeah, time extension is definitely the way to do it. I don't think there's anything. I know what Mark's expertise is towards this and what he's told you already, because we've had this kind of chat before, like on a live video. So there's nothing I could really add to what he suggested to you, really. Do you guys have anything to add to that, or is it just the same sort of thing?
Oh, just yeah. I mean, a little bit of context too. She's going to be undergoing rotator cuff surgery soon, so basically, we need a trainer from the waist down, I guess. We need to have a conversation with her, with the doctor on, what's going to be safe and not safe. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are finding the right exercises. If it hurts, don't do it. If it puts you in a compromised position, don't do it. Train your legs and get huge quads. Look sick.
Mm-hmm. That's the foundation right there. Anyway, if you build the legs, everything else will be alright.
Yeah.
100%.
What are your guys' reasons for going carnivore? Health, performance, look, or any other things?
Good question. Good question. I like this question.
Very good question.
I like this question.
Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll start. So the reason why I done it is pretty much because of my age, and because of what I've done in the past. I've bombarded with my body with tons of crap over the years. I'm in my 40s now. I want to remain training now for the next 30 or 40 years. I feel really, really good. I've got a good life. I've got a good life with my family. I love what I do. I love waking up every morning feeling really, really good. I never want to go back to the old ways again of me staying in bed and I've never been in that situation where I did stay in bed, but from what I've seen with people that I work with, they struggle to get up out of bed. They struggle to have any energy, whereas I'm the opposite. I'm up every day. I feel really, really good. I'm listening to my body. Honestly, I've never felt great. I've never felt better. My workouts are getting better. Just overall health's getting so much better. I get my blood markers done every few weeks. They're absolutely perfect. So why wouldn't I not do this for the rest of my life? I just don't see any reason why I would want to stop. I feel really, really good.
Awesome. What about you, Jonathan? I'll wrap up after you.
Yeah, sure. So the main thing for me was, I'm trying to look back now and think why I started it. I did a video titled "My 3-Year Carnivore Journey." If you want to get more detail, but it's a mixture of all 3 of those things. Basically, wanted to maintain a good physique without all the stress or damage to my body, like Mark just outlined. So it's kind of a mixture of all 3. So it's like, how am I going to get a better body, enjoy my training, train harder, whilst maintaining the best health status? And the carnivore diet seemed to align with all those 3 things. So that was basically it. Lots of different health issues and ailments over the last few years. Many of them. People look at me and they see a big 250-pound guy, or whatever, 245, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's got it easy," but they don't see the full picture. You guys both know my struggles physically, mentally, but what I've managed to overcome in that time, in spite of different issues I've had, is, in my opinion, when I look back at my former self, it's tremendous, and I'm glad other people get the same opportunity to experience the benefits I do. I know Colt's experiencing the same thing. I know Mark's certainly going to experience the same thing as time progresses, and he's definitely experiencing it now. So brilliant. Where are you, Colt?
Yeah, good stuff. And I'm going to answer that question. Thanks, Jonathan. And I just want to piggyback and a little bit off of kind of where you were going with that. that's a super powerful transformation or a testimonial too, by the way. But my son, I've noticed that the more we've been reducing oxalates and reducing it and reducing anything that his body doesn't 100% need, that's really not 100% carnivore. Cognitively, he's coming a long way now. I've noticed a very sharp, very acute, very direct correlation to where anytime he consumes to where he consumes carbs specifically, but even anything high oxalate, he gets pretty dysregulated, and so I notice it night and day. And so I think there's a lot of people, maybe like yourself, maybe like my son, that are particularly sensitive to it. And I think I'm somewhere in that category too. So anyway, I guess I just wanted to segue from there into, yeah, my reason to come into the carnivore diet in the first place was a combination of everything, really. It really was. But coming from a past with quite a bit of an eating disorder and needing some way to be able to nail it down and have something consistent that I could stick with. I do great with rules, following rules. And so actually having an elimination diet just in general for me gave me some more structure around it. But what I did notice after my first 8 bodybuilding shows was that whenever I did a depletion day or a keto day, I felt a lot better, and my brain power was better, and especially even intermittent fasting with carbs in my diet. I mean, like, I never checked, but I was probably in ketosis at the tail end of the fast, quite frequently then. And I really just enjoyed how I felt when I was fasted. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? I think it's just carbs and plants. Whenever I'm eating carbs and plants, I can be fed, but have meat in my belly and still feel great and still have my same focus and everything. But I feel like my whole body changing and physiology changing whenever I consume anything that's not meat, and when I get out of that fasted state too. So anyway, yeah, that, and then definitely the looks. I'm not gonna lie. I read Robert Sykes's book, his first book, not the new one. The new one's like a million times better. That's the one that you just bought, Mark. But Robert's original book kind of casted a vision that it was possible to maintain a decent physique year round a lot easier on a ketogenic diet. And so I was like, wow, okay, well, that sold me on ketogenic bodybuilding. And so I got into ketogenic bodybuilding first. And I was even kind of calling myself a carnivore for a while because I was 95% carnivore, which is pretty much where I'm at now. I'm 100% carnivore minus a keto brick, which is basically carnivore, and and a handful of supplements that are still kind of important to me. But that last change has been, I think, where I've seen the majority of the results. It's weird when you make that step from keto to carnivore. It feels like you're only changing 5% of your diet, and really that's pretty much all you're doing. But that 5%, you get 100% better results off of it. A lot of things change. Keto to carnivore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the last 5% for a lot of people that makes all the difference. If you've got any kind of tendency towards any kind of cognitive disease state, it's like ADHD, autism, anything like that could be it. That makes the big difference, for a lot of people. I think it's
very
well said.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of heavy metal buildup and heavy metal toxicity, and so I think that's the the culprit that causes a lot of those cognitive issues in the first place. And I think that the carnivore diet is, so far for us, we're noticing it to be definitely a step in the right direction that way.
Yeah. All right, we've got the next question. We've got about looks about 2 or 3 more. We'll get through these quickly. I'll give my quick take on this one. I don't know because it's stretched towards Colt. So what do you think, Colt?
Oh, all right. This is from Matt in Norway. He's definitely not from Ireland. It's an inside joke. What difference do I'm never gonna forget about that one. What difference do you notice in your digestion after taking the fiber-containing keto bricks versus strict carnivore? Oh yeah. So I guess I don't really know, bro. I've never really cut keto bricks out of my diet, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon because I love them, and it's done miracles for my sweet cravings. because I am a sweet tooth junkie, bro. I mean, like anything sweet, I don't care what it is. It's good, and I'll eat it, and I will not complain about it. And I'll sell out the entire donut shop or whatever. And so, I've always had a thing for sweets my entire life, and I don't think that a lot of people are. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't really different from that. And so for that reason, it's something that I really enjoy looking forward to. And then after that, my sweet tooth is completely satisfied, and then from there, it's just kind of beef and butter to satiety the rest of the day. In terms of in terms of any changes with or without them, I don't really know, but so far so good. I'm just one and done in the morning, completely effortlessly. There's like hardly anything that comes out because my body's using and soaking up everything that I'm eating. And I don't think there's a lot of fiber in these things. Let me double check and see how much there is. There's 91 grams of fat, 30 grams of protein, and 14 grams total carbs. Not net carbs, but total carbs. Let's see how much fiber is in this. This is the nootropic icing flavor, of course, my favorite. 4 grams of fiber for the entire bar. So I figure on 4 grams of fiber, that's kind of negligible. I mean, dogs eat that much fiber, right? Speaking of which, fun fact, did you guys know that ideal macros for dogs are kind of around like 2 to 1 protein ratio and basically just like trace carbs and whenever they do eat a plant? Sound familiar?
Yes.
That's kind
they get away with high protein to fat ratios. They've got a better gluconeogenesis pathway.
Well, no, excuse me. Higher fat than protein. Maybe I said it backwards. But
yeah, I don't know if that's correct.
Oh, okay. We've been researching.
I mean, I understand where it's coming from. It's just back to front. I think they can tolerate higher protein and fat because they weren't given fatty cuts of meat. That'd be more prioritized in the diet historically. From in the sense of them being domesticated, captive, you weren't going to give the ribeye cut of the woolly mammoth to your dog. You're going to keep that for yourself because it's the most energy rich. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You have to do rapid fire because my computer's going to die any given minute. How often do you guys recommend seafood in order to get more omega-3 and nutrients found in seafood? I recommend them to have it if they get a taste for it. How about you guys?
Really interesting. Personally, I never really recommend that they need it because I'm not aware of any nutrients whatsoever in fish that are 100% necessary. In the United States, you're pretty much always safe with beef. You're a lot safer with beef than you are with chicken, pork, even fish too. There seems to be I guess more, not more harm than done in eating fish over here because of course the mercury levels and things are all aware of that direction. But even when coming back to beef, good quality grass-fed beef is going to have higher omega-3s than omega-6s. If it's grain finished and grain fed, that's where you're going to see a higher omega-6 ratio. So I don't see any reason to necessarily pursue fish for the sole reason of omega-3s.
About you, Mark?
I would rather have people have a variety in their diet per week. So instead of just eating the same food every week, I would rather see them having some sort of fatty fish in their diet at least twice a week. It could be salmon, mackerel, sardines, oysters, just a different fat source, and just instead of just focusing on the same fat source all the time, which is basically ground beef, steak. That shit can have a toll on you all the time if you're eating that all the time. Whereas I find that to get more benefits out of the food that you're eating, add more variety to your actual diet. So definitely add some fish in at least once or twice or even 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Brilliant. That's a good answer. Yeah, eat as much good carnivore food that you can tolerate. That's healthy.
And if you're not consuming fish, maybe supplement with like cod liver oil.
Yep, definitely.
Cool.
Do you believe that you need supplements on a carnivore diet, or is it not necessary because it's so nutrient dense? We kind of covered this one already today. I'll just say you don't need any supplements. Some can be useful in the right circumstance. I think most people have access to ways of living and eating that mean that they don't need any supplements.
Yeah, I would agree with it 100%. For me, it's just short and sweet. You pretty much, if you're eating good food, and you're getting good sleep, good rest, you're training properly, you shouldn't need any supplements at all.
I'm just gonna say, make sure you're drinking a lot of protein powder though, because that's how you build muscles.
Nice one. He's being sarcastic, by the way, Matt. Don't misinterpret that. How much water do you recommend? Drink to first or have a water target? My short and sweet answer is drink to first. I don't recommend a water target. I think that throws things off. It means then you have to look at other calculations. For point of reference, I'm a big, heavy bodybuilder. Not as big and heavy as I'd like to be at the moment, but still. And I drink 2 litres per day, approximately, give or take about 400 milliliters. So 1.5 to 2.5 litres per day. I'm fine. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm the same. Just drink when you're thirsty. That's it. Don't force it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a couple things to that. If you know you're gonna eat a bigger a high protein meal or a high fat meal, really, if you know you're gonna eat a big meal, go into it like with I don't know, 8 ounces of water depending on your body weight. Like I would probably drink an entire one of these, which is like 16 ounces. I don't know how many liters that comes out to, 700 milliliters, I guess. Because I just know I just know proactively that my body's gonna need that water to better digest it. Also, the other exception that I would have to drinking to thirst is if you're on a strict prep and you're training either to peak or to peak either for a show or for a photo shoot. But knowing exactly where your water's at, then you can manipulate it. And so again, this is more about vanity and aesthetics and less to do with overall health and training long term. If you don't have a show or anything coming up to where like you need to be in top shape, forget about it. Drink till thirst.
Perfect. Brilliant. Excellent answers, guys.
I've got a quick question for you. Go. Right.
Go
What's what are you guys' opinion on HIIT training versus low steady state? In regards to like weight loss or in off season or whatever.
Bro, are you trying to get us all to argue? Because we do not agree on this one.
Trying to wind us up.
That's the reason why. But that's the reason why I brought it up, because I've heard your argument on it, and I've heard Jonathan's on it. So let's get on and let's see what we can come up with.
Well,
you first. Go.
All right, I was just gonna say, Jonathan's probably right, and I'm probably wrong. Scientifically speaking.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Scientifically speaking, anecdotally, HIIT cardio has never worked for me. It's only gotten me injured, and low intensity cardio all the way has gotten me absolutely diced. And but yeah, I lost muscle doing it, but that's okay because I wanted to get diced and I wanted to be the leanest person on that stage, and I did it.
Yeah, I think they can both work. I think one can potentially cause more muscle loss and cause you issues down the road. For example, left ventricular hypertrophy is more common if you're doing steady state cardio, more likely to have a heart attack, more likely to drop dead in a marathon and die, which is not a nice thing to hear, but that's the scientific inference, I think. I think that the benefit on your muscle fibers is better with HIIT training. I think that ideally you don't do any cardio in that sense. I think daily activity is better. So you're swimming, you're walking the dog, stuff like that, chilling out. That's better overall. It's going to put less stress on your heart, so you're not going to have that adaptive mechanism where you'll get a huge giant heart that weighs like 800 grams, like Dallas McCarver, Rich Piana, and countless other bodybuilders that have died over the years. They were doing lots of steady state cardio.
I've been reducing mine for that reason too, by the way, and heading more kind of the direction that you guys are a fan of, especially in terms of non-exercise activity, thermogenesis. I'm like, okay, I noticed that like that conversation had me laughing so hard, and that got my heart rate up. You know, did I burn as much energy as I was on the stair mill? No, but the stair mill is going to jack my cortisol up. I mean, it doesn't for me. I'm talking for the average person. I actually like the stair mill. I'm probably mentally ill because of it, but but like any kind of white knuckling cardio to where you're forcing it, you're doing way more damage than good. Absolutely. If it's something enjoyable and it feels good, and it's something to where you're like, wow, it's kind of a relief to be able to get to do it. I don't see how you can go wrong with it. I think that's your body telling you that, yeah, no, more is better. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can get well the biggest this channel, Colt's following, Mark's following, body composition, that's what we're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with long steady state cardio is that it increases appetite in most people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It slows down your thyroid output, slows your metabolism. You end up having to do more and more and more. It's kind of like the same as the volume principle in training. If you're using only the amount of sets you do and reps you do in training as your metrics to improve your body composition, you're going to be chasing that forever. I spoke to someone recently. She was on 209 sets per week. 209. I'm on around 50. Obviously something there isn't working if she has to do that much to maintain a physique.
Yeah.
I'm building my physique on 50. You see what I mean? So the same is true with training. I think ideally you'd be doing your high intensity, difficult, intense training style in the gym, 2, 3, 4 times a week, whatever you can manage. And you'll tag that along with your daily activity. I think there has to be a differential. So I advise people, if they're going to do any kind of high intensity training, do it on a day that isn't your actual training day. Keep it as far away from your physical training in the gym as much as possible. And in the same point, if someone is going to be adding in high intensity training, I wouldn't be doing that to sacrifice the resistance training. And also not to sacrifice the recovery from the resistance training. So there's heaps of caveats there to each of our arguments. You got to find something you enjoy at the end of the day. You got to be able to sort of stay doing it. I can't do high intensity training because my hips won't let me right now.
Yeah, me too.
That's my caveat. So I might be better off walking the dog down the park for like half an hour. So that's basically it for me.
Yeah. So for me, I agree with both of you. I would always class it on the individual. So how I work it around is, okay, like what's your life like outside training? If you've got a hectic life, if you're, let's say you're working on a building site, you don't need any cardio, none whatsoever. The only thing you should be focused on is weight training. Whereas if you're someone that's a sedentary, that's sitting in an office all day, then you might be able to add in maybe a walk after training, but that's it. Just a walk, not high and steady state, because you got to understand you're going from a stressful environment from your work schedule, and you're going into another stressful environment, which is going to be the gym, where you should just focus on getting really, really, really damn strong, and then that's it then. But if you think that, but you're going into the gym and doing tons and tons of cardio is going to get you the results that you want, it's actually going to hinder your progress, because, like Colt says, it's going to raise your cortisol levels. Your sugar cravings are going to go up. You're going to be craving a lot more food. So what's happening is you're actually going backwards. You're meant to be going forward. Whereas if you're building more muscle, your metabolism will speed up, and in time, your body will want more food than going forward. So that means when you are changing and you're getting leaner, you're getting extremely lean, but you're actually eating more food. If you eat more, or if you have more cardio, what you're doing there is you're burning muscle. When you burn muscle, it slows down metabolism. So look, you need to look at, when you build muscle, look at as if you've won the lottery. You've built that muscle. Hold on to it. Don't fucking ruin it by doing tons and tons of cardio, because it's actually going to hinder your progress going forward.
Yeah, very well said. Like the way you piece that together, you kind of explain both arguments in a very sensible way, which is approachable. It makes sense what you said. Like, I think the average person watching this right now will be able to understand it completely well. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. I mean, wow, both of you guys really just stimulated some good light bulb moments. So I'm writing this down in my journal right now. So, question for both of you. I'm currently doing a lot of low intensity cardio right now, and part of that is because I was training for a marathon. Right, that dream was kind of shattered because my foot is just it needs some time to recover from any kind of running. However, I'm still very cardiovascularly I guess athletic right now. That being said, I would like to reduce low intensity for that reason. I'm gonna be peaking a mountain in the summer, so that's kind of what we replaced that goal with. We're peaking Granite Peak in Billings, Montana. I think it's between 11,000 14,000 feet. But so cardiovascular health is still important to me. How should I taper off of cardio right now? Do you think like doing more walks and just like spending more time at the park? And it just seems really hard to track. You know what I mean? I'm guest posing for a bodybuilding competition in 3 months, so gaining any excess body fat as of now is kind of out of the question. I can't allow that. What do you guys think?
Speaking to Colt, who likes to track everything and analyze stuff. He's built like me, so
right.
Me just saying to him, just chill out a bit and just do a bit less it's not going to work. Yeah. He needs a directive. He needs a staggered sort of fashion.
I think what you're doing at the moment, Colt, is false. At the moment, you're doing is great because you're using up a lot of energy by working, and you're probably moving around, so you're burning energy doing it that way. I would just do it that way because you have to understand, like, you're doing an awful lot of work. You said to me you're doing 12-hour days, so that's a lot of work. So you're using up a lot of energy. If you're using up a lot of energy, plus you're going for a run, plus you're going to the gym, eventually your body's going to break down.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. So I would definitely hinder one of them. I definitely wouldn't get rid of the weight training, and I definitely wouldn't get rid of the work schedule. Get rid of the cardio.
Okay. And so with that, it's probably going to become a reduced appetite and probably less overall body fat or less overall dietary fat that I would need to consume.
No, I would just look at your food volume, and if you're getting sloppy looking, then you'll just a food of macros then. But just keep an eye on your physique. If you're getting pretty sloppy, then just adjust the macros to where you are right now. That's all you need to do. But I would definitely not don't add more onto more, because sometimes it can actually hinder your progress.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks.
Good.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Mark Ennis. You can find him on Instagram at fitnessbeyondtime01. I was just about to double check, but I was like, man, we've done this so many times now. It's just rolling off the tongue. Jonathan Griffiths, composition consultant. You can find him on Instagram there too. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and that you have bell notifications on, because we're going live every single Tuesday. We haven't missed one in 8 weeks, right? We've done 8 of these now. And you're about to hear it on a podcast too. So give me some time to, I'm working 12-hour days, right? Everybody knows, you just heard that. So it might be a week or two before we publish them. I'm gonna go to Seattle and train Carly through her show. She's kind of a new carnivore, just for a depletion phase, and then she'll be back to her normal diet, back to peaking mountains and everything else she normally does. But yeah. That's what's happening here. Thanks again, everybody, so much for all your questions and for joining us. And catch you next time, next week, same time, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, and then 8:30 for Ireland and 9:30 for Jonathan. Right?
Same time for Jonathan.
It's still 8:30. Yeah.
Oh, it's same time for you. My bad.
On the same pocket on the globe.
8:30 for both of you guys. Same pocket on the globe. Got it.
8:30.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Much love.